all of this. So again, we will wait and see what it does. And clearly here showing some, winds. I'm kind of searching around there near Davis. I'm kind of just hunting around to see what's in there. And it looks like there's, again, some strong southerly winds associated on the flank of that. But as of right now, it is just that. It's a strong thunderstorm, lightning tracker. You're going to put up a lot of lightning strikes in that. Scott, you're kind of looking at 41st Street as we scan there.
Yeah, trying to get this to come into the southwestern side of the city. So, yes, we have the darkening of the skies with this storm. Again, those clouds are fairly low to the ground anyway. And non-severe, but something that we'll have to watch. The southernmost part of this storm system moving quickly to the northeast. And I see we do have some other developments here out of the KELO land area right now towards Sioux City. And those storms, too, will start to move to the northeast. As, that broken line right now will have to be watched. Extreme southeastern South Dakota, eventually moving into western and northwestern Iowa.
Okay, well, and it's, again, a busy afternoon, a number of cells out here. Tornado warnings are in effect for these areas highlighted in red, and let's go through these right now. Again, the Moody County area, Lake County, tornado warnings are in effect until 3 p.m. We've been watching some of this, the pulsing here along, basically, and I'll put this product in here. I think this might tell you a little better story about this. If you look in the center of your screen, you get this line of green versus where basically there's nothing or very shallow returns. And that's kind of that axis where the wind shear is maximized and there's some strong winds pushing out there. And damage, again, there could be certainly some stronger gusts along that whole feature. We want to be very clear about that, even if we're not to a level of tornado type weather. It's certainly a wind-driven event. We've been frequently getting a couple of those stronger wind numbers coming in, 70 to 80 plus. So that's, again, the far northern reaches of Minnehaha County. Even looking just west of Sioux Falls now, out by Hartford, some of this wind has come up. See this right there? Looking at that, let me probe this. And looking at that, yeah, that's probably at least on the northern fringe, at least up to 70 miles per hour. That would be northwestern Minnehaha County. So some strong winds are pushing through here. There's another one. There's a 78. And we can come up here again at radar height, 75 up near Chester. So quite windy, strong outflow winds. And where that kind of meets up that boundary, that's right here. This whole line is basically tornado warning as a result of that.
Go ahead and bring up the LSRs just to see if we get any local storm reports to come in. Because I believe, Adam, it was a funnel reported in, was it Brookings County?
2 miles south of Volga.
Okay.
Yes, so Brookings County.
Yeah, and that would be there, and that would be associated with that feature right there as that kind of moved through 220 or so here. And yeah, there's definitely more going on near Bruce now. And looking here to the east, there's Interstate 29 and Brookings. So Brookings coming into town, although Brookings is not technically in the tornado warning. It's just west of Brookings. So we'll see if we get an update there on that. That could be coming out any moment. And then farther south, so far, it's good to see, and I'm glad to report that rotation not as strong on any of that stuff down there near Lenox and Davis. We'd like to keep it that way. As we watch these storms this afternoon, it's been kind of a rough few days, hasn't it? Folks, I know last night was rough again around Sioux Falls, and we're just going to keep an eye on this. We're going to keep watching all of these things. There's that Salem report of wind. I know they had some power outages out there in Salem as some of this went through there. Here's a live view from our 41st Street live camera. And please be advised, too, as these storms come into Sioux Falls, obviously, thunder and lightning, those kind of things, but we are in a tornado watch. So that tornado threat is still significant today. And really, as we go through this afternoon, we're still going to have to really watch this as it organizes it into southwest Minnesota. I think that's still a story yet to be told, obviously, as these tornado parameters are still quite high to the east and northeast of Sioux Falls. And that's kind of been our story headline all day today as we target those points of severe weather. So,
and that can probably end up being what's going through, or will go through Sioux Falls momentarily, as that will eventually try to move into southwestern Minnesota and also south south of that line, too, we mentioned before, extreme southeastern South Dakota, that will move to the northeast. And then that's what we'll have to watch as we do go through the afternoon hours, as those storms do make their way into northwestern Iowa and southwestern Minnesota underneath that tornado watch as well.
Yeah, and it's, it is just a day here where, again, it's best to watch all of that from what we're seeing here this afternoon. Again, this is live coverage. I do want to mention, too, and, yeah, there's that funnel cloud report that came in near Brookings, so certainly having that to add to the conversation here, too. Tornado warning remains in effect for western Brookings County until 2:45. That's 2:45. And we're also watching here tornado warning in effect for Moody County until 3 p.m. We've had some areas of rotation moving across that area, and it looks to me like the broader wind here is pushing right there through Coleman. Again, looking at what we're seeing here on Doppler radar, pretty strong push of wind. Again, that came through, we watched that through Lake Madison a little while ago, and then now moving off to the east. So again, please be advised of that. That's a tornado warning area that is in effect. And these things can change very quickly, as we have witnessed that this afternoon. Let's go back down to Sioux Falls area. This is our live camera from Harrisburg. And Scott, you're kind of monitoring some of these clouds, aren't you?
Yeah, coming in here from the west and from the southwest. That's Harrisburg. You brought up 41st Street a little bit ago. This is downtown Sioux Falls. We have it zoomed in a little bit, too. There's more of an expanded view. So we do have darkening cloud cover about to enter the city on the west and southwestern side first, as these storms are moving to the east and to the northeast. Nothing severe with these storms as of yet. We'll see if they do strengthen and become severe, but probably have these gusty winds blow across the city again during the next, I would easily say 15, maybe 30 minutes. And this is the timing that we had on some of the computer models, thinking that anytime between 2 and 3 o'clock, we will start to see some of these storms move through the Sioux Falls area. And then we'll have to watch them as they continue their progression into Iowa and Minnesota during the afternoon, as they've had a little bit more heat, a little bit more moisture into those locations.
I know, it's a gust.
Yeah, we're starting to get a little more wind in that, aren't we? Near Worthing, between Worthing and Lennox. Let's keep watching that. That was just a brand new scan here. Again, we are not to the level where we have a warning, but I do want to reiterate that this is coming towards Sioux Falls, and you know, it's got a few minutes yet. You know, based on this trajectory, it would be into Sioux Falls at 2:57. That'd be the downtown area. So it's 2:36 right now. In the next 20 minutes, we just got to kind of get over that hurdle, but we're going to be here to watch it carefully to see how things develop. Scott, you know, I'm going to go to your Harrisburg camera, because you're kind of looking down there. That's that wall cloud right there. And again, there's definitely some wind kind of pushing out into this thing a little bit. That's near Worthing, so there's definitely a lower base in there. Keep watching that. Adam, you got something new for us?
Yep, new tornado warning just coming down for Coddington, Dual, Grant, and Hamlin counties. So head on over toward Ponce Colony, or near Esteline, 8 miles north. That's where they're taking a look at that storm capable of producing a tornado. Radar indicated rotation. This is moving northeast at 65 miles per hour, moving very, very quickly. Also in Madison, with a train spotter, reporting a funnel cloud around 10 to quarter after 2 in the afternoon. That was around for a brief moment. But again, the new tornado warning, Coddington, Dual, Grant, Hamlin counties until 3 p.m. This is for a storm 8 miles north of Esteline, moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. So not a lot of time if you're up toward Clear Lake. And unfortunately, also seeing Castlewood on the edge of that warning as well.
You know, the thing about that, Sal, too, if we look at this list, well, these are some things we just kind of look at behind the scenes, the top of the cloud thunderstorm structure, if you will. There's some hail probabilities, but the bottom number, there's a BTI right there. Do you see that number? That's a 7.3 on a scale of 1 to 10. And what that does is it's analyzing that storm environment, and it's saying on a basis of a 1 to 10 scale, what are the odds of tornado development? That's the highest scan I've seen today. And it does overlay with a moderate risk. So continue to watch that. I think that certainly needs to be brought up here. I was also kind of watching some of this stuff going on around Lake Preston. Let me see what else is going on there. That must be some back wind that's coming in behind this. It almost looks to me like we've got, even within the talk of all of this afternoon, there may be some damaging winds right in this area here, kind of feeding that channel coming up from Arlington. Okay, a lot going on this afternoon. If you're just joining us, we have several tornado warnings in effect. I'm going to kind of clear the map. We're going to reset what we're talking about. And this is live coverage on KELO Land Television. We're watching tornado warnings, Moody County until 3 p.m., portions of eastern Lake County until 3 p.m., Brookings County, northwestern Brookings County, tornado warning until 2:45 for another 6 minutes. Brand new tornado warning now in effect for Esteline and the folks up here in Dual County near Clear Lake until 3 p.m. Now, that's all on the northern flank of this. We go south, we're watching a very strong storm, not tornadic, but it is in an environment that just bears watching. I think that's maybe the best way to put that, and that's why we're here. We're going to just keep watching it. I think that that's, you know, the way to go here. Obviously, looking at some of these parameters right now, I mentioned before some of the wind that kind of pops up here. You know, and now, of course, some of these numbers are awfully high. Let me bring this down a little bit on the thresholds, but it looks to me like there is some wind in there between T and Harrisburg. Scott, do you have a view of that?
I think this right in here is what we're looking at on our Harrisburg live cam. So more or less right there in the center of your screen, it could be, you know, possibly downburst going on right now too, and that will push out those strong winds with it. So that's what we're looking at both on our live cam and also on the radar.
And we've got a couple other views too. I know from downtown Sioux Falls, we're kind of watching that a little earlier. Just to see how that looks there. Again, that's that low cloud and certainly some of the general rain that's coming into the city of Sioux Falls.
Try to bring up 41st Street too.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good idea to take shelter just to be in a safe spot as this activity comes through the city of Sioux Falls. Again, lightning, there's definitely some things going on here. There's 41st Street, dry right now, but again, the edge of the rain is coming in, and we're getting some pretty strong numbers there, but again, it's one of those situations where things are kind of moving up quickly there from the southwest. Let me bring up the radar view. So there's T. You can certainly see that shaping up there. And then that line kind of goes all the way down to Worthing. As we bring up the sweep on our Beersford radar, it again kind of indicates all of that too here this afternoon. So be aware of that. A strong storm moving into the Sioux Falls area as we speak. And again, this is all coming in as the time we're watching right now. It's 2:41. Let me go back to the latest here upstream. These watches and warnings, all of the information that we've been relaying here. I'm going to, for the moment, just
and they have extended that tornado watch north.
Okay. Yeah.
It's been extended to include Coddington, Dual, Grant, Hamlin, and Roberts counties until 10 p.m.
Okay. So we've got kind of a large area there under the tornado watch. As you see this afternoon, there's our Clear Lake area. Let's go back into some of the internals on this particular feature here. I think that's important that we get out there this afternoon. Here's Esteline. Let me take the lightning off. We're just kind of looking at this right there. The Esteline vicinity right now. Again, when I probed that the first time, we were kind of looking at some high numbers on some of the tornado parameters. And boy, that has strengthened, hasn't it? Look at that right there. On Interstate 29, okay, this is where it bends around, just taking that angle up toward Watertown. So we're talking, there's Castlewood. I'll circle Castlewood right here. There's likely tornado development going on right now in that cell. And if it's not on the ground, it's certainly rotating very quickly. There's a lot of shear going on there. And again, we'll be watching that from our Watertown live cameras. That tracks to the basically due north. Let me put that storm tracker back up there on that cell. Again, tornado warning, Dual County until 3 p.m. And in particular, north at about 47 miles per hour. So That's quite a storm there moving to the north. It's going to be hard to see some of that, obviously, with the rain involved, too. You've got a lot of rain ahead of that feature, too, this afternoon. The warning in Brookings County continues, Bruce area, till 2:45. So that's probably going to be allowed to expire. We'll see if they reissue any of those spots there. And then farther down the line, you've got basically some strong winds coming into Sioux Falls. I would say right now that's probably the main problem with this strong storm now moving in west side of Sioux Falls. But it's raining pretty good there, isn't it? At Empire Mall, TLS Road. Are we getting hail out of that? Some of you are probably curious about that. At the moment, it looks like just doing our hail swap tracker. There's some in there. Yeah, there's probably some hailstones right there on the edge of Sioux Falls, right on the northeast edge of T. And Scott, this is 41st Street, is that correct?
Yep, this is 41st Street, and pavement's now wet as the storm is just entering southwestern Sioux Falls, moving east and to the northeast. We have some pretty good movement there with the clouds that are a little bit lower to the ground. You could just see them, how quickly they are moving, though the trees right now look to be a little still. We will continue to watch this. You mentioned the possibility to see hail with it. A little bit ago, we heard thunder here in downtown Sioux Falls, and that's our downtown live cam, more or less doing the same thing, picking up on the storm coming in from the west and southwest again. Non-severe, but
actually it is severe. They just issued a warning.
Okay.
Funny you mentioned that.
Okay.
A severe thunderstorm warning just being issued for that cell. This also includes Lincoln County and then Lyon County, just a little bit of the northwestern corner of Lyon County. This will be until 3:15 p.m. You mentioned that there was some hail being observed on radar. It's also picking up within the warning, upward of $0.5 in diameter. This is going to continue to move to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. So again, northwestern Lyon, southeastern Minnehaha, including Sioux Falls, as well as northern Lincoln County. That includes the likes of T and Harrisburg.
Yeah, I know I got a lot of information going on here. Let's kind of clear the decks on these warning spots here. What I'm going to do here is, again, the warning, obviously, things are moving right over Sioux Falls as we speak. And as we analyze the live cameras, I know, Scott, as you're looking at this cloud coming right there, so that hail is right there underneath where the dark skies are located there. There's obviously some wind pushing into it, looks like, at the present moment. And I think we may be getting some here. Thought I heard something hit the roof of the studio. Let me go ahead and pan down. Yeah, we're kind of watching this. That's 14th Street here this afternoon.
Yeah, I think I hear it.
And yeah, some hailstones are coming down, aren't they? A couple of them out there. So again, kind of watch all of that here this afternoon. We can kind of watch all of that here from our bird's eye view downtown Sioux Falls. Let me go back to radar. This is what we're tracking into Sioux Falls right now, as a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for the city of Sioux Falls, and that is until 3:15. Storm moving through northern Lincoln into Minnehaha counties. So severe thunderstorm warning is in effect. Farther north, tornado warning remains in effect in this broader rotation area. I want to go back to that because, frankly, you know, looking at some of these wind numbers, it's been kind of a rough start of things here. Right now, looking at these winds here in the northern part of the county, some strong winds are likely. Scott, I know you're going back and forth here, too, on these cameras. I'm going to take you full here on that. As you see that, yeah, it's definitely hailing, isn't it, downtown? You can hear that at the studio.
You can hear it at the studio, and we have the heavy rain here elsewhere in the city. We've had the indication of hail there at the Empire Mall. We showed you that in white there on KELO Land Live Doppler HD. In fact, let's go back to our downtown live cam, too, as you can see the darkening cloud cover continues to move over the city, and with it, we are looking at the lowering here of some of the bases of the cloud cover being a little bit lower for this time of year, but you know, they are moving rather quickly, and we'll continue to monitor that with our live cams here. All right, so what we're watching here, this is the thunderstorm wind outflow. That's looking south from our studios in downtown. And you can see the scud clouds are definitely moving along quickly. That's been a really common feature this afternoon of these storms. And certainly, even within that, you can see those clouds are rotating to some extent. Scott's pulling out the view just a little bit there.
I can also notice some of the coloring there. It's supporting some of this hail that's falling. So again, another unfortunate deal there too with the hail associated with that moving through the city of Sioux Falls.
Got a new one for you.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just pardon the interruption for what you've been going on. Brookings County as well as Lincoln County, Minnesota. Tornado warning until 3:15 p.m. Radar indicated rotation along the line from near Toronto to near Aurora, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. So again, that's Brookings County as well as Lincoln County, Minnesota until 3:15. This will include the Lake Benton area within this warning.
Okay, and obviously
just east of Brookings.
Yep, and these areas, again, there's a lot of spots there on radar that we're watching this afternoon for that. Again, we're kind of skimming through some of our products here on that, so there's a lot happening here. You can see a cluster, several clusters of thunderstorms rolling through from Clear Lake to Hendricks, Minnesota. This whole area, including, as I click on these spots, again, tornado warning for eastern Brookings County, extending over into Lincoln County, Minnesota until 3:15. And we've been frequently coming back to some of this up here to the north. We identified a couple of these spots here a little bit ago. I did want to see how things are moving along with all of these areas here. Scott, you've got a new update for me now with our live cam.
Yeah, this is 41st Street here. You can see the heavy rain coming down. The wind has picked up. I mentioned about 5-10 minutes ago we had calm winds, but now that the storm is overhead, those winds have picked up. Sheets of rain coming down here at the Empire Mall. Go ahead and quickly bring up what the radar is showing for the Sioux Falls area. And as I'm a little bit curious as to where we may have the possibility of some of that hail falling for the city. Before we had it showing up at the Empire Mall. As it has continued to move to the east and to the northeast, we continue to watch the heavy rain coming through. It looks like it may be moving through downtown Sioux Falls at the moment. So we will continue to watch that storm system here more or less with the live cams. As Brian, go ahead and make your way up to the north again with some of the latest tornado warnings that we have.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're keeping an eye on all of these things as much as we can. I do want to say, though, that view from downtown, I've got to go back to your camera. That's our view. Look how fast that cloud is moving across the city. That's your push of wind moving right there. And, Scott, you're kind of highlighting that a little bit there. Again, that's what? Just looking due south. And
it's not a time lapse. That's real time.
That is moving awfully fast, isn't it? Look at that, just skating right across that. Yeah, zoom in a little bit more there. And this is, we're kind of looking southeast of our studios down toward the Avera campus. You can see that's racing across the southern side of the city, coming out of Harrisburg right now. A lot of wind there being analyzed at the present moment. So please take that warning seriously. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for northern Lincoln and also Minnehaha counties as we speak, as we're dealing with more severe weather this afternoon. We'll keep going around here from story to story. I do have to go back to the north here quickly as we encounter these tornado warnings. Again, Elkton to Hendricks, there is a fairly strong storm. It looks to me like there might be a little bit more rotation on some of that. Kind of watching just there between Aurora and Elkton. There's definitely some features showing up there as we speak. And then, of course, to the north, you can follow this all the way to Clear Lake, you bet. And this whole area near Kransburg, there's certainly a lot of rotation kind of along that axis. And we've been watching, when this came through Lake Madison, it was just, so, you know, you could see it, the crisscrossing of the winds, the low-level shear was there, and certainly that's all kind of moved through that area, but now it's migrated farther to the north and is affecting these areas east of Watertown. One thing I will tell you, and as we've been watching all of this coming together today, so far...
And quarter-size hail there in Sioux Falls. Measurement coming in here about 4 miles southwest of the heart of the city, going with quarter-size hail. So that probably puts it over near the Empire Empire Mall.
Yeah, and that kind of goes along with what we've been watching here with our radar sources this afternoon. There's the Beerser radar scan. There it is. And again, a fairly strong line of storms, but at this point, thankfully, rotation hasn't been quite as strong there, so that's good. We're very thankful for that. Obviously, a lot to process as these storms go through this afternoon. And even some of these cells extending way down here towards Sioux Center, Iowa, and farther to the south. There's actually quite a number of these now popping up on Doppler radars. So we'll continue to keep an eye on all of these as they migrate eastward out of South Dakota and into northwestern Iowa. The time right now, 2:53. You're watching our live coverage on KELOland TV. This is, again, a series of storms in eastern KELOland, a series of tornado warnings remaining in effect north of Sioux Falls. Let's highlight that. I know it's really coming down here at their studios now, but we do, at this point, have the strongest storms north toward Clear Lake. Also, I would say this cell here, moving toward Elkton. There's a pronounced hook formation there, at least some rotation on the side of that. That definitely needs to be watched, too, if you're in the southern portions of Brookings County from, I would say, Aurora over here just to the west of Elkton. There's broad rotation in there, and that's why the Weather Service has put out that tornado warning in effect there in Brookings County. That's a live view from downtown Sioux Falls. Heavy rain, wind, some hail moving through the city as we speak. So, again, that's been kind of the story here as we watch all of this coming together this afternoon. Busy day here. Obviously, a lot of transitioning elements here moving across the city with that strong wind. And that's why we kind of bring up some of these products here live as we analyze all of that. Again, that's kind of coming through the city there pretty strong as we speak. And it looks like that hail, again, you made mention of that, Scott, originating down toward T and the Empire Mall, Lake Lorraine. Some hailstones kind of embedded in there.
And coming in around the size of a quarter.
Yep. So not as bad as the other night, but certainly still a strong storm. And as we watch all of that again this afternoon, this will be continue to be covered as this line moves off to the northeast. But Brookings to the north, tornado warnings remaining in effect. And Scott, quite a busy day here of weather, isn't it?
That it is. Downtown live cams still showing the heavy rain moving through the heart of the city right now. Every now and then, loud enough that we probably hear a couple of those hailstones hitting the roof of the studio here. But I was looking at a couple of things just off, kind of behind the scenes, as we do have those storms that do extend again to the south of Sioux Falls, and some of them are now making their way into western and northwestern Iowa, which is an area that we'll have to watch too, as those will continue to move to the north and to the northeast, that we will have to monitor those and watch those closely if they also become severe. Otherwise, heavy rain continuing here, downtown Sioux Falls. Every now and then we still get the possibility to get some hail with these storms, and you can see that line that I mentioned to the south and southeast of Sioux Falls. Notice it's Sioux City and to the northwest, getting close to Sioux Center. So those will continue to travel north and northeast, and it's going into air that maybe a little bit warmer, a little bit more moisture available with those storms in Iowa, maybe even southwestern Minnesota. Adam, do you have some new information on any of these?
Yeah, we actually have a new tornado warning that just came up. If I head up on toward the Dual and Grant County area, Clear Lake, 11 miles northwest, tornado warning there until 3:30 p.m. This is moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. Again, using the radar indicated rotation verbiage on this. But we had mentioned the rotation that we've been watching in the Clear Lake area for a very part of the last about 20 to 30 minutes. And National Weather Service also keeping a very close eye on that as well. Again, this is northwestern Dual, southeastern Grant counties until 3:30. This is moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. So if you're up along that neck of the woods, Turnerville, Altamont, again, north and east, you guys need to seek shelter.
Yeah, and there's definitely another, again, that's another spot that is perked up here pretty quickly, so we want to make sure we're taking those precautions in that area as tornado warning is in effect. Let's do a KELOland storm tracker on that. And again, pushing this storm out here toward the Millbank area. It's moving kind of fast. So Millbank, 325. Big Stone City, 336. Ortonville, 338. and again, continue to move into west central Minnesota. That, again, is just east of Watertown at the present moment. So that's one of the stronger storms here. Let's go back to radar coverage, and as we see that this afternoon, again, from our Sioux Falls area vantage point, the storms in Minnehaha County. That storm actually moving right over northeastern now and eastern Sioux Falls. Just going to click on this to see how things are moving along. Brandon coming in line here, 305, Garretson 313, Jasper 322, Trent 322, Egan at 328. We've got a live camera view from we know one of these from Great Bear.
Let's see if we can move this out a little bit. Yeah, there we go. The heavy rain.
Oh, really coming down, isn't it?
Reduced visibilities here. Bring up the other Great Bear live cam for you. You can see that. Again, sheets of rain and with the wind blowing that around, too. Making it hard to see. We've had some hailstones reported with this, up to about quarter size reported by the Empire Mall. That is Great Bear. I know you mentioned Brandon a little bit ago. I'll try to find that live cam and bring it up to you as well.
Yeah, okay. Well, at this point, again, watching these cells as they are popping up. Again, there are some more going on here down toward Haywarden. You can see that cell there near Hudson. That's a strong storm, not producing any tornado activity, but we do have a tornado watch in effect. I know as we go back up the line here, Scott, this Brandon area, of course, Brandon had quite a bit of damage, or at least I know at Huset's. They reported that last night. And let me show you. This is what you're looking at, Scott. That's Brandon out the golf course right now. And it is definitely coming in there. The winds are picking up. There's that line of some strong winds moving through. We've been monitoring that. That's looking actually up to the north from the golf course. But panning there to the west, that cell's coming in. It looks like at a pretty good clip right across the city. So take shelter. These kind of situations, we always want to make sure that with a severe thunderstorm warning, you're in a sturdy structure, and be aware of some hail possibilities with these cells. They have had a history of quarter-size hail, but so far, the good news is we haven't had any tornadoes with this moving through Sioux Falls. We're very thankful for that as we've been kind of looking at
and
these.
Here comes the rain in Brandon right now.
Yeah, it is coming down there right now. Again, that's the latest live cam. We'll keep checking back in with that. We need to go back to the north now and show you that tornado warning area, the latest updates. So now as we kind of clear some of these other warning areas, we've got basically a cell that stretches from about Bushnell up to Hendricks. There is a tornado warned area there. Based upon what we're seeing right now, that's still valid. In fact, that warning's out for eastern Brookings and western Lincoln, Minnesota. Those are areas there just west of Ivanhoe until 3:15. So keep watching that. We go up the line here, and you can see Turnerville, the area basically just east of Kransburg up here into Dual County. 3:30, you got another half an hour on that tornado warning. Also, that extends into Grant County. So we're talking here just south of Millbank. If you're in Millbank, it would be a good idea, I think, to continue to watch that cell and take precautions. The tornado warning just comes up to the edge of Millbank. And based on, I'm going to actually switch the view here, looking at that rotation. Again, it's been kind of a day where this stuff pops up, and then these little spots will kind of come and go quickly, given all the information here. But I would say, even at the moment here, there's probably a little more even developing outside that tornado warning area. But again, farther to the north, we haven't been quite as warm today, so that's another factor we watch when we analyze how much of this rotation is reaching the ground. But again, it looks like around Elkton, north of Elkton, there's some broader rotation going on right there, just east of Brookings. I would probably say from Brookings, a lot of that's about 11 or 12 miles to the east. Certainly the wind has been there. These strong straight line winds have been coming through. Some reports here, we had a funnel cloud a little earlier near the Volga area. That came in there. Also the Madison area, we had a funnel cloud there with the passage of those storms. And then also we've had Esteline funnel cloud, also northeast of Esteline funnel cloud. So there's been a lot of that. And thankfully, so far, not any rotation touching the ground, at least in those locations. But we'll continue to watch this, guys, as this continues to move through.
Yeah, Brian Adam was just pointing out to me, south of Huron into southern Beadle County, we're starting to see some new development there. And the way that we were looking at things earlier over the weekend and even last week is we would have to wait for this parent low to move across South Dakota. And I'm kind of curious if, we are starting to see that could be the location where we actually have the low pressure system trying to move through. I wouldn't be surprised to get some development right underneath it. And that would be an area that we'll have to watch too, maybe to get a spin up with the tornado as well. But right now, no warning on that, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that start to fill in east central South Dakota.
Also, take a look southwest of Mitchell as you've been going through, noticing a little bit of a spin with regard to those storms over the last 20 to 30 minutes as well. Just noticing that little feature trying to get itself going.
Yeah, there's definitely, that's the low pressure, at least the mid-level circulation right there over Corsica. That's kind of an interesting little feature, too. So that's kind of the instigator, the low pressure center, as it's moving right up to Plankington. Not directly associated with severe weather, but there is certainly some lightning with that as well. But here's the thing. If we can continue to move along here, the big test is going to be what happens in southwest Minnesota as this line moves eastward. And when we've talked about these segments here this afternoon, so far they have just been that. They've been segments of storms, and that's helping to reduce some of the severity of these. Obviously, it's been quite a day here watching all of this coming together, keeping an eye on the storms from this morning and now the effect this afternoon. Severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Brandon. I do want to mention that's the Brandon golf course right now. Boy, that's changed, hasn't it, in the last few minutes? Definitely getting some strong winds there. And, making sure we're in our shelters here as that wind is raking through an area that just experienced high winds last night. But there's no doubt about it. Those trees are shaking around in the wind here this afternoon. Again, that's from Brandon, live at the golf course there. We were looking earlier at Harrisburg. Now the storms have kind of cleared through there. So that is encouraging news. We like to say that for sure. In downtown Sioux Falls, too, the clouds have now kind of thinned out a little bit. We've had this line of storms move through. It's still kind of a low-hanging structure, isn't it, though? That's kind of that flank there to the southeast of Sioux Falls. And it's been quite a day there with those clouds moving through. And, again, some of these areas been very close to seeing tornado development. We've had areas north of Sioux Falls, quite a number of reports around Madison of funnel clouds earlier. We were witnessing some of that. That's a live view from our camera there. Let me bring back... let's see if we can go to Harrisburg here, and I'll bring that up. Again, that's Madison again. So behind the scenes, we're just kind of watching all of these coming together. Let's go back and recap these tornado warnings, and I think that's important that we do that just to get our bearing straight on where we're at here this afternoon. Again, these are the storms that are now pushing into western Minnesota. Tornado warning is in effect for western Lincoln County, Minnesota until 3:15. We have tornado warning in effect for eastern Brookings County until 3:15. Also a separate tornado warning in effect for Grant County, and that's for areas just south of Millbank until 3:30. Again, it is Doppler radar indicated, but I would also say that between scans, this shear marker is back on Viper. That's just to the south of Stockholm. You can see how that has kind of tightened up there, that little couplet. That's the reason behind that. By the way, that feature is moving directly toward Millbank. So even though Millbank's on the very edge of the tornado warning, I would highly recommend you watch that carefully and have a plan in place in case that continues to migrate there to the north. That's affecting our folks here in Grant County as we speak. And then farther down the line, again, it's been an afternoon of these storms interacting with each other, kind of a broad zone of thunderstorm development here. Brookings County, it kind of skips over Moody County, at least in terms of warnings. And then the Sioux Falls area, there's that Brandon storm right now. Looks like possibly some hail, or at least that heavy rain is certainly a part of that mix. Let's go back to Brandon.
Got some wind as well coming out of Brandon as well. Report just coming in from fire department out there. 70-mile-per-hour gust 1 mile west of Brandon. And from that same storm, they have extended that severe thunderstorm warning eastward into Rock County, Minnesota. That will remain in place until 3:30 p.m. We also have a new tornado warning that has come up toward Grant and Roberts County. You were just mentioning Millbank. This one for a severe thunderstorm 13 miles west of Millbank, moving north at 50 miles per hour. Again, tornado warning for portions of Grant and Roberts County until 3:30 p.m. This moving north at 50 toward the Marvin and Summit area.
Yeah, and certainly looking at this flank of the storm, that would be more in this direction, just to the north of Watertown. Again, there's been kind of an axis in here where there's some rotation developing where these green and these red colors correspond this afternoon. So again, these areas being watched carefully. If you're in the tornado warning area, please be in a place of safety and take those seriously, because in this kind of environment too, it's kind of hard to see things. There's a lot of rain in there. A lot of this rotation is just frankly embedded within that, and that's always a tough call because obviously you can't judge that very well when these sheets of rain are coming down, and that's kind of the messy mix there here this afternoon in the Northeast. So they've got these tornado warnings embedded within the rain.
Well, and you've seen with our live cams, we have the periods of heavy rain moving through. Been mentioning the reduced visibilities with them, so then that just makes it a little more difficult. And of course, you know, the lower cloud base with these storms doesn't help either. With our tornado warnings being radar indicated, kind of a little harder to actually see them if they're on the ground. So that's a live look in Watertown. Watertown had 1 inch hail being reported a little bit ago with the storm that moved through, I want to say about 30 to maybe 45 minutes ago, as they also had some heavy rainfall into that location too. Brian, let's go ahead and take a step back. And what I want to do here is just bring in a couple of other areas here. Let's go ahead and try to, you know, just take a step back. What do we have going on? Well, we have this tornado watch that covers eastern South Dakota. You see it in southeastern KELO where the watch is out until 6 o'clock this evening. Now, it has been extended to the north where the watch is out until I believe it's 10 o'clock in the evening. So we'll continue to watch the storms go through eastern South Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa. Now, this is the latest view as to what's going on Futurecast, just to give us an idea as to what we can expect with these storms over the next couple of hours. Let's go ahead and fast forward to 4 o'clock. As you see, a majority of those storms will be in northeastern South Dakota. We'll have to watch maybe for these individual cells that can develop into western and southwestern Minnesota. As we continue to the 5 o'clock hour and stop it here, this starts to fill in a little bit in east central South Dakota. I think the severe threat will be tamed down a little bit as it does. Now, it's interesting to note, too, once we get the southwest winds that come in here in southeastern KELO, that's when we will start to see that air dry out. That's the dry punch that I think you mentioned a little bit ago, Brian, with our forecast models projecting that we will have a dry punch of air move through. The air should feel a lot drier this evening as compared to what we had this morning and this afternoon. You know, this whole system will eventually start to wind down as we do go through the evening hours. And again, that tornado watch is in effect in northeastern South Dakota until 10 o'clock, and by that time we are looking at lighter showers in eastern and northeastern South Dakota. This has all developed in this area of, well, this is a new update too, of a moderate and enhanced risk for severe weather. Now, notice that a lot of that moderate risk is into western and southwestern Minnesota. Here's that tornado threat, and this is that updated tornado threat too, mainly into western and southwestern Minnesota. Brian, I'll bring up the analysis here with our radar. As you know, as these storms move into Minnesota, that's where the Storm Prediction Center is thinking that, yes, that is that heightened risk for tornadic activity.
Yeah, and it does come in line with our thinking, although one thing that's been very helpful today so far as these storms have been coming up out of Nebraska, we talked about this a little bit earlier about having these storms taking on more of a line or a linear structure, and that's what we see there. So as these storms have been that way, what happens there is that they're not all by themselves. They're kind of ganged up together, and as they link together, it does somewhat limit some of these tornado parameters, which thank goodness that has so far been a little bit less here on the southeast South Dakota side, but we still have to get through southwest Minnesota. That's the next trouble area that we're going to be watching carefully. We've got an extension of that severe thunderstorm warning toward Laverne. That storm coming through Sioux Falls, Brandon area reporting 70-mile-an-hour winds with this storm as it moves through eastern Minnehaha County. Again, Scott's putting up some of the Doppler velocity data. There's Brandon. Again, this has been a push of wind moving right there now, just about to the Rock County line. So Beaver Creek is next. Laverne, you're next. And yeah, it may continue to push eastward here, given what we are seeing this afternoon on Doppler radar. Farther to the north, tornado warning in effect here. This is the Elkton area to Hendricks. These cells, again, it's been a little bit more of a blend of, you've got all these storms going on. You've got a lot happening here. So because these storms have been clustered together, we've been getting some rotation. But again, these cells will pop up and then they'll disappear, or at least the rotation areas. There's still a broader area near Millbank. That's been kind of a hot spot here in the last 10 minutes. We've been very carefully watching that, and now it's all the way almost to Millbank. So again, the tornado warning comes right up to about the city of Millbank, but then there's an extension out here towards South Shore and on this part of the line. So just keep watching for that. Again, this is a kind of just a situation where a lot of things are popping up in the middle of what's really a lot of rain and some very fast-moving cells here. The Madison, Minnesota area now under a severe thunderstorm warning. I noticed, too, that the hail tracker might be popping up a little bit better around Gary. So far, that appears to be at least some heavy rain. But I see there, yep, north of Hendricks, a little hail dumping out of that cell. So we'll continue to advertise, or at least make sure we're aware of that. Anytime hail pops up, our Doppler radar system can look at the difference between the raindrops and the hailstones. It does a pretty good job of decipher, or at least figuring out the differences there, if you will, between those. And Scott, you're overlaying that hail tracker feature right now.
Right, and it just gives us an idea where we had that history of hail, potential hail with these storms. You mentioned Hendricks and to the north. West of Canby, we've also had these storms here in northeastern South Dakota. Watertown included, I believe quarter-inch hail was reported into that area, and then across extreme northeastern South Dakota near Millbank. Again, these are hail paths, if you will, that go back, I believe, over the next 30 to 45 minutes.
Brand new tornado warning. Go ahead, Adam.
Got two of them actually for you. First one we'll go with is the one for northwestern Rock County as well as east central Minnehaha until 3:45 p.m. This showing radar indicated rotation northwest of Laverne near the Garrettson area. This is moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Again, northwestern Rock and east central Minnehaha County until 3:45 p.m. Radar indicated rotation with that warning. We have a second warning that came up at the same time. This is southeastern Roberts and northeastern Grant counties until 3:45 p.m. Again, radar indicated rotation near Millbank. This is going to continue to move on up to the north at 60 miles per hour. So if you're up toward the Ortonville area, you guys need to seek shelter immediately.
All right, so a couple of very strong areas at the present moment. Again, that Millbank cell, we've been keeping an eye on that. That's been kind of holding its own. And then back down to the south, let's pan into that spot right there near Garrettson. And again, looking at these colors on the Doppler radar. Again, this is what we use to analyze winds going toward the radar and away from the radar. So you see this little spot near Garrettson. There's a little area there, probably another one right here near Sherman. That's a little spot in particular where things are kind of rotating, and that's kind of the problem here now. These little spots are crossing over into western Minnesota, so it's a tornado warning in effect here. Hardwick, you folks are in the path of some of this. Again, as we watch this little
The National Weather Service in Sioux Falls has issued a tornado warning for northwestern Rock County in southwestern Minnesota, east central Minnehaha County in southeastern South Dakota until 3:45 p.m. At 3:14 p.m., severe thunderstorms capable of producing a tornado were located along a line extending from Sherman to near Valley Springs, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Blue Mountain State Park and Hardwick. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued until 3:45 p.m. for the following county: Rock, Minnesota, and Minnehaha, South Dakota.
This storm is moving to the north. Your more traditional view here with the reflectivity coming back to the radar, showing periods of heavy rain. It also looks like we probably have some hail with a couple of these systems here into northeastern South Dakota. One to the north and northwest of Graceville. That one is moving to the north, and then we have a little spot there of possible hail just to the west of Millbank. And again, these storms here into northeastern South Dakota are moving to the north and to the northeast. Very heavy rainfall, gusty winds along with it for northeastern South Dakota. And this is an area that is underneath that tornado watch that goes out until 10 o'clock this evening for northeastern South Dakota. What is going on here for Aberdeen? Well, it looks like we do have some lighter rain showers trying to move through. The strongest of the weather, I would say, along and east of Interstate 29 in northeastern KELO. We do have this heavier shower trying to develop to the south and southwest of Huron. But again, the strongest weather in east, central, and southeastern KELO, now east of Interstate 29 as it continues to travel to the east. And here's a view here of southeastern KELO, picking up on the strong to severe weather. Let's go ahead and put our latest view up for this Rock County one in Minnesota. Again, that is a tornado warning out until 3:45. As that has been a radar indicated tornado. And just looking at the reflectivity here, I'll get a little bit closer too, and then also bring up the possibility of hail, because it looks like it's just to the east of Garrettson where we are looking at the great possibility of seeing that hail. And as I do take this back about 30 minutes, you can see that more or less it is growing, the possibility of hail with this storm. So once that white starts to go away, gives us an indication that it is losing its hail, and that will happen east of Garrettson. You got a nice looking live cam there, Brian.
Well, we're watching the blue skies coming back to Parker, although that's the storm in the background. That's the one that you just highlighted over Garrettson. So, you know, the hail is right up there. That's exactly what we're watching from that vantage point. And again, these storms are kind of tracing down. If you kind of pan down the line, that would be more of what was going on here into northwestern Iowa. There's certainly some development here this afternoon as we kind of get that view from atop, and you know, you can kind of zoom in here to these clouds, and certainly they are bubbling up. So that's again a live view from our live camera from Parker, South Dakota, and scanning into those storms there into northwest Iowa and southwestern Minnesota. By the way, I noticed a lot of water standing in those fields too. A lot of heavy rain clearly showing up, and boy, that is look at this right down here. I think I can zoom in there. Boy, there's a lot of water there, isn't there? So
there, yeah, right by the culvert too, looking at a lot of water, and it looks like, yeah, you have some cattle there in there as well. So they are dealing with that. You know, just saturated ground, southeastern South Dakota. We've had rainfall amounts this month over 4 inches in some spots, and Adam's waving us down. What do you have, Adam?
The tornado warning that was in place for Rock and Minnehaha County, they have updated the verbiage, tornado observed, with this particular cell. Again, this is moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Tornado has been observed.
Okay, so let's talk about that now. The area near Sherman, this is now right in here, just to the south of Jasper. This is one of the couplets we've been watching pretty carefully there. So again, tornado on the ground. This is the first one of the day that we've had to that level. Again, if you are in Hardwick or anywhere here northwestern Rock County, Minnesota, you need to be in your place of safety right now. Tornado warning is in effect until 3:45. That box is fairly confined, but I have a strong suspicion they're probably going to issue other warnings downstream if this maintains itself. Obviously, too, that's running in an area with some of those wind turbines, so we do have to be a little careful when we analyze the velocity data there just a bit. But I would say certainly that south of Jasper, that is very strong right now. And again, that is tornado confirmed by spotters. So we are now converting over to that. Again, tornado located on the ground, tornado producing storm located in a line from Sherman to Beaver Creek, moving east at 35 miles per hour. And again, that was a publicly confirmed tornado just east of Sherman at 3:14. And that, again, that's running about 8-9 minutes ago. So you can clearly see Sherman right there. Scott's highlighting Sherman, and now moving east there as that circulation core is going up here. It looks like probably a little north. I would right now say the tornado is right here about, let's count them out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 miles east of Jasper, maybe 2 south. But again, it's moving so fast, it's likely going to jump up here into Pipestone County. So, folks, here's Edgerton. Keep a close eye on that. This cell is, again, coming out of Sherman, and it's taking this kind of path right now. So it is an issue here where, again, these areas downstream, you folks need to be prepared quickly for that as these cells develop. There's Hardwick, too. It's in the tornado warning as we watch all of that here this afternoon. And this is, I know we're kind of looking around here at our live camera from downtown Sioux Falls. And again, there are times when we've actually been able to see those wind turbines over there in Rock County from this vantage point. So again, just kind of visually looking in here. I'm just doing this here just on looking at what we can see. That's a long ways away from downtown Sioux Falls, but clearly tornado reported here in that area. Let me zoom in here a little bit closer as we look at that. Again, that's looking over here into those areas well to the east of Sioux Falls into western Rock County, Minnesota. It's been tornado reported on the ground. So again, that's one of the main highlights that we are showcasing right now, guys.
Yep, and this is, again, a look at Rock County, Minnesota. You may notice a subtle difference there in the polygon. Usually it's red for the tornado warning. When we get one that's observed on the ground, it has a subtle change to it, more of like maybe a fuchsia or purple color to it. So that's an indication to alert us and to alert you that, we're looking at a different situation than just a radar warned tornado. And that's what we have going on in Rock County. And again, this is out until 3:45. So for the next 20 minutes, we will continue to watch this storm as well as other storms that we have in not only southeastern South Dakota, but as we go into northeastern KELO, we've had numerous tornado warnings up here as well, as we've been following that one in and around the Millbank area. That's one that is now, looks like the rotation is a little farther to the north as that storm continues to move to the northeast. But we have tornado warnings here that do cover Grant County until, 3:30, so for the next couple of minutes. 3:45 eastern Grant County there, and 3:45 as we get into southern Grant County, looking at the 3:45. So we do have a lot going on here in the northeastern South Dakota with these tornado warnings that are moving to the northeast. And this one's looking a little interesting too. North and northwest of Graceville, also picking up on some rotation just on the velocity data itself. That moving to the northeast, getting close to the Dumont area, is a location that will have to be watched closely. And then this is now Madison, Minnesota, as we have the severe thunderstorm warning into that location, as we do bring up some different data here for you, looking at periods of heavy rain, probably some wind gusts near 60 miles per hour as we take our view out. And again, looking to Rock County, Minnesota, this is where we do have the tornado warning out for the next 20 minutes until 3:45. Great possibility for hail with this storm, too. What you see there in white, south of Jasper. And, in fact, as we do take this back about 15 minutes here, watching that hail grow inside that storm, east of Garrettson, now east of Sherman, south of Jasper. So still waiting to let go of some of the hail with that storm into Rock County, Minnesota. But again, this has been an observed tornado in Rock County, and this tornado warning is out until 3:45. Let's go ahead and show you what's going on into northwestern Iowa, as more or less it looks like this broken line of thunderstorms have now moved into northwestern Iowa, non-severe, near Rock Rapids, Rock Valley, also Sioux Center, with a couple of stronger showers trying to move through, if you will. Haven't brought up lightning tracker in quite some time. As you can see, a high concentration of lightning strikes here from Rock County to Pipestone County. In fact, as we do put a counter on that, in this particular review over the past 15 to 20 minutes, we are looking at lightning strikes just shy of 400. So we have a lot of lightning strikes with the storm here in the southwestern Minnesota. And again, a lot of this is east of Sioux Falls, east of Interstate 29. We do have this activity from Wessington Springs just to the west of Mitchell. As we put a lapse on that, looks like that is trying to move to the northeast. And just looking at some of this information, let me go back to that. I think they just extended a thunderstorm.
They just extended that for portions of Murray, Nobles, Pipestone, and Rock counties until 4:15. They're also picking up on the potential for upward of 70-mile-per-hour gusts and hail approaching about $0.5 in diameter.
Okay, thank you for the update there. 4:15, that's a new severe thunderstorm warning out for Nobles County, and it looks like eastern, southeastern Pipestone County until 4:15. And then, of course, into Rock County, we continue for the next 15 minutes with the tornado warning that has been observed on the ground. Let's go ahead and bring up a couple of the LSRs, the local storm reports with this, showing the history of some wind and some hail here in and around Sioux Falls. You see Brandon, this report coming in a little bit after 3 o'clock, 70-mile-per-hour wind, and also some hail being reported near Rowena. That hail coming in about 1 inch in diameter. Looks like just shy of that, probably 3/4 of an inch. Looks like to the east of Schindler. And we also had some hail reports here near the Empire Mall, just to the north of Harrisburg, and to the east of T. Those reports coming in at about 1 inch in diameter. And again, even those wind gusts in and around Sioux Falls up to 63 miles per hour. And this hail report about 1 inch in diameter in Sioux Falls itself. We were able to hear the hail hit the roof of the studio here at downtown Sioux Falls. So the severe thunderstorm warning continues. What do you have here, Brian? This is, you have to bring up, I believe, this one.
Yeah, I will move this over here.
Okay.
Hold on just a second. Right. We're getting some new video. Actually, that's we've got a little preview here from Don Jorgensen here. I'm going to show that, but just bear with me for just a moment.
Go ahead and get that together. Let me know when you have it. I'll do a couple of highlights here with our tornado watch. Southeastern South Dakota out until 6 o'clock this evening, and then it has been extended to the north. That includes northeastern South Dakota. We'll say west central Minnesota. That is out until 10 o'clock this evening with that tornado watch. And of course, those boxes that you see flashing, those are severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings that are moving through northeastern South Dakota. Looks like now west central Minnesota, as well as southwestern Minnesota, with Rock County out for about the next 15 minutes. Now, temperature-wise, we like to do some analysis as we do our storm coverage as well. You can see, as Brian mentioned before, as these storms do move into Minnesota, the air is a little warmer. We have temperatures approaching 80 in Worthington. We have 84 in Spencer, Iowa. And then as we do take a look at our dew point temperatures, I haven't taken a look at these for a while. I'm kind of curious as to what these are doing. You still see dew point temperatures near 70 in Worthington, and Marshall also at 68. So that's a lot of moisture that we can still work with in the atmosphere. And I'm a little curious if we start to see these numbers go down as we start to get more of a westerly wind here in southeastern South Dakota. Now, speaking of the wind, a look at some of those wind gusts with those storms just outside of Spencer. We're at 49 miles per hour. And as we bring up the actual direction here, we do have, southerly winds there into Minnesota, Iowa, and, northerly winds here across central and south central South Dakota. So we haven't seen that push of that drier air move into southeastern South Dakota as of yet, but that is expected to happen as we do go into the late afternoon and the early evening.
All right, this is what things looked like a few minutes ago when things were passing through Brandon. This is from KELOLAND's Don Jorgensen, and quite a bit of rotation there. Of course, that ended up becoming that cell that impacted folks up here near Sherman, and we've been talking about that. Again, I want to go back to that because that is a publicly confirmed tornado. Let's go ahead and just bring up a couple of other items here while we're on this source here. I'm going to go back to our live camera. And again, this is from Sioux Falls. Things have really quieted down in town in Sioux Falls, so we're really not too concerned about anything at the present moment, although I do have a couple thoughts about some things moving in here a little later this afternoon. Report there again. That's that tornado touchdown. Just to confirm that, tornadoes reported there near and just to the 5 miles southwest of Jasper. Okay, so that's that little dot there that Scott's pointing out there on the screen. Again, that report as of 3:14. So that goes to what, about 17, 18 minutes ago on that. The tornado warning is still in effect, though, there, and obviously we're still going to watch that rotation as all of that advances to the east. Now severe thunderstorm warnings in effect toward Russell, well, actually to the south of there. Ballatin's about the edge. Slayton again. We talked about Slayton this morning overnight. It was about 12 hours ago, Scott, I believe. And again, it's been a very active pattern. Hail, too. I know you're pointing that out here right now with our hail tracker.
Right, and that's those areas highlighted in white. And again, it more or less is staying suspended in the thunderstorm. If I could go ahead and take this back 30 minutes, you can see how we get that to grow there near Garrettson. That was around 3:20 as it continues to move to the east and to the northeast. That's a look at things getting around, well, after 3:30. That's a look at what we have going on right now. So hail still suspended inside of this thunderstorm into southwestern Minnesota. We'll go ahead and clear that out, go ahead and change our view and move into northeastern South Dakota as we are looking at these areas here, not only northeastern South Dakota, but into west central Minnesota. I want to go ahead and take the LSRs off here and just highlight a couple of areas. Let's go ahead and bring up our velocity data as looks like near Wheaton, Dumont, looking at the possibility for some rotation inside of that storm.
Yep, they've continued that severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, for that. That remains in effect until 3:45 p.m. And they are also keeping an eye, rather, on that area of rotation right around the Dumont and Wheaton area.
So you can see that here with our velocity data. Again, green is air movement toward the radar. Red is away. And when we get these real close to each other like this, that gives us an indication that we do have rotation inside the thunderstorm. So, yeah, that is a severe thunderstorm warning right now, but they are paying close attention to that storm as it is moving to the north. And then we have tornado warning out till 3:45. That covers parts of Roberts County. Looks like that one was just updated too.
Yep, that's what they're going to allow that to continue until 3:45. They're keeping the radar indicated rotation verbiage on that. Also still moving at a very quick pace north at 60 miles per hour, so just north and west of the Ortonville area.
Okay, so we're watching that one. Just got an update from the radar there as well. And Big Stone County, this takes us into Minnesota. Tornado warning until 4 o'clock, and this goes out for another 25 minutes. And as we do extend over into Swift County, Minnesota, Stevens County, Minnesota, same thing. We're looking at these tornado warnings going out until 4 o'clock. Now, you see Madison, Minnesota. Let's go ahead and change our view here. Looks like the dangerous part of that storm is to the north. As Lacaparo, Minnesota, we have the tornado warning out until 4 o'clock, but it looks like it has moved north of Madison. Now, go ahead and bring in, well, this is looking a little different, too, down here. We now have...
Yeah, the extent of what they've done is they've expired the portion of the tornado warning for Minnehaha County, but they're going to continue it for Rock County.
Okay, and that's why we have different colors coming in here with the polygon. So looks like it is making its way toward the Hardwick area. Here we are at 3:36, and again, this tornado warning out until 3:45. As I do bring up the LSR reports here, that was a, we're going to move it here, that was a tornado reported 5 miles southwest of Jasper, and that happened at about 3:15. Now, interesting to note, too, as we move up here into northeastern South Dakota, Madison itself, starting to get a couple of these reports coming in right now. Funnel Cloud reported Madison at about 2:10. There's another one here near Volga. Funnel cloud reported here about 224. And as we continue to move to the northeast, I know we mentioned Esteline a couple of times here in east of Dempster. Esteline with a funnel cloud as well. East of Dempster, same thing, funnel cloud. Hey, let's go ahead and keep them as funnel clouds. That's fine. It's better than getting those tornadoes on the ground. And otherwise, numerous hail and wind reports coming in southeastern South Dakota, in and around the Sioux Falls area. It makes it, day 3 of severe weather reports coming in and around Sioux Falls. This is our reflectivity report. This is what we typically show. Of course, what you're looking at here in red and purple, that's periods of heavy rain. We do have the lighter rain there in green, and yellow, I would just call that as moderate rain. So 3:37 is the time right now. Tornado warning out until 3:45 in Rock County, as we do bring up some of the velocity data with this. Now, trying to pick up on something just to the west of Hardwick, though it looks like it was looking a little better there when the funnel cloud was reported, or excuse me, the tornado was reported there near Sherman, Jasper area, to the south of that area at about, I believe it was 3:15, around 3:15, 3:20, and then as that storm continues to move to the east. These storms here in the northwestern Iowa, non-severe. It looks like a very pronounced line trying to get going here, though the intensity with the rainfall is not as great. You see that just to the west and northwest of Mitchell. These storms here, non-severe as well. Just a couple of lightning strikes here and there in east central and south central South Dakota. You see that near Plankington. But here east of Interstate 29 into Minnesota, this is where we do have the strongest weather occurring. Western, southwestern Minnesota, these storms moving to the east rather quickly, anywhere between, it came in earlier around 50 to maybe 70 miles per hour, and this line goes all the way to the north into extreme northeastern South Dakota. We'll take out the lightning strikes there so you do get a better view as to what we're seeing across the northeast.
So they've just allowed the tornado warning for Rock County to expire. This is the first update I've got for you. Second one, report just coming in 4 miles east-northeast of T of ping pong ball sized hail. With that storm that rolled through, that was observed about 2:45.
Okay, so go ahead and bring up, let's see if we, we probably do have that report coming in, and that was to the Empire Mall there. We know it picked up around 1/4 inch. I don't think that LSR is actually in as of yet, of the large hail around the T area. So the tornado warning will be allowed to expire here, coming up here in the next 5 or 6 minutes. That one is into Rock County, and that is where we have had the report of the tornado on the ground. 5 miles to the southwest of Jasper, and that came in around 3:15 this afternoon, so about close to about a half hour ago. And then you do see the line extend to the north, non-severe, Pipestone and north, but we'll continue to watch it. Some heavy rainfall associated with those storms and into extreme, maybe northeastern South Dakota. Also watching these storms here, extreme northeastern South Dakota, west central Minnesota. Looking at tornado warned storms there. And, not only are we looking at hail and wind and these funnel cloud reports coming in, but we've also had periods of heavy rain. Millbank, one of those locations, at about 1 inch. We've had close to 1.5 inches southwest of Millbank. Another report of heavy rain here, over 1 inch, and those reports coming in from earlier this morning. But, another round of heavy rain moving through, or has moved through, eastern and northeastern South Dakota for the early part of this afternoon. So looks like that tornado warning will be set to expire here in about 5 minutes in Rock County, Minnesota. And that was the area there where we had the tornado on the ground 5 miles to the southwest of Jasper. And that report came in at about 3:15. Otherwise, northeastern South Dakota. Let me go ahead and change the radar view here, see if we could bring up anything really distinctive with our velocity data. And, this area near Graceville, I would say north of Clinton, probably some rotation associated with that storm. That went quickly moving to the northeast. And again, that Dumont area and Wheaton area, even though that is a severe thunderstorm warning, they've been looking at that one rather closely, too, for the possibility of rotation with that storm. So let's go ahead and take a step back I'd like to bring everybody in as to what we are looking at. This is our watches that we do have. And these are tornado watches that we have across eastern South Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa. Southeastern KELO out until 6 o'clock with that tornado watch. And into northeastern South Dakota, western Minnesota, we're out until 10 o'clock with that tornado watch. And again, you do see those flashing boxes signifying severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. And we showed you this a little bit ago, too. This is the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center that comes out usually around 3 o'clock. Still at this moderate risk for severe weather, what they have highlighted in red. More or less, it takes it near Interstate 29 and to the east to give you that area there in western and southwestern Minnesota. And the highest tornado threat is more or less the location that we're looking at right now as these storms continue to move through western and southwestern Minnesota. So let's go ahead and take a look here with Futurecast. We'll go over this hour by hour as we do go through things by the 4 o'clock hour. Still looking at those strong storms in northeastern South Dakota. We'll see how strong these get. Here, east central, maybe south central South Dakota. We've been following the rain with a couple of lightning strikes with it. Well, this is looking a little interesting. Something's trying to come out of northeastern Nebraska around 5 o'clock. And, you know, Brian, you're looking at a couple of things behind the scenes. We'll try to dissect that a little bit more. But look what it does here. Trying to get into the Sioux Falls area around 6 o'clock. And it looks like it may signify the possibility for strong winds with it, too.
Well, that feature is definitely dry behind, or at least coming in on this dry punch. But, yeah, there are some early bird signals. We could have some strong winds with that. That's going to be separate from a tornado threat, but it would be a strong straight-line wind that could develop here. So, in fact, we actually are forecasting these winds to increase, generally speaking, out of the west-southwest behind this storm system, generally 40, 50 miles per hour. So just got to keep that in mind. If you are out and about, I know skies have cleared in Sioux Falls, and might be kind of tempting to think that everything's done, but we're not quite done yet. We still have to kind of reconcile that feature and see how that moves through. Obviously, we'll be kind of watching to see if that does develop. But at any rate, the tornado threat goes with this line that has already passed through Sioux Falls, and that now moving into southwest Minnesota. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Murray County, also southern Pipestone County. And it looks like that tornado warned area, Scott, things have settled down a little bit there. So that's good. We're pleased to report about that. You know, get this thing to go through, and then the weather can calm down, and everybody's really looking forward to that. I know so many of you that are weather fatigued. It's been a rough couple days with these hail and wind reports and all the damage last night to clean up from. So, again, we're going to push through. It's a 4:15 right now as you watch live coverage here on KELO Television. Northern part of that flanking line, again, we have been watching those tornado warnings, but now they are, again, that northeastern corner of Roberts, or eastern part of Roberts County, Scott, Big Stone County in Minnesota, tornado warning until 3:45.
Yeah, and so, you know, over the next minute here, we'll see if they do extend that. Any information on that, Adam, about extending any of these warnings here that are expiring here over the next minute?
Well, the only one that's actually been issued that's new has been up toward Traverse and Roberts County. The newer warning that's just up to the right of the current one, that's in place until 4:15 p.m. In terms of the tornado warnings, I have not seen anything in terms of extending any of those, but we do have, however, a new warning, a severe thunderstorm warning. They actually just extended the one down toward Lincoln County, Minnesota, Lyon, Murray, and Pipestone as well. They have extended that severe thunderstorm warning. That is going out now until 4:30 p.m. 70-mile-per-hour gusts have been indicated as per radar. That's been the only extension that we've seen, at least from something that's ongoing to the south.
So we have these severe thunderstorm warnings in the southwestern Minnesota, extending near Interstate 90 from Laverne and to the north, slightly to the east of those areas. As you do see that line of thunderstorms here, just to the east of the border of Minnesota and South Dakota. And, you know, these are fast-moving systems, too,
also
to the northeast.
Head back north just one more time. New warning just coming in for northeastern portions of South Dakota.
There it is. It just popped in.
Big Stone, Traverse, and Roberts. They are keying in on the rotation signature that's been coming in on velocity with that particular cell. Also 70-mile-per-hour gusts. So if you look toward Graceville and also east of Wheaton. They've been keying in on a little bit of that rotation on velocity.
Yep, so that's where they are looking. That is a severe thunderstorm warning. They'll continue to watch that one closely. Velocity data able to pick up on where we may have some of that rotation to the north and to the northwest of Graceville, as that is moving to the northeast. And again, the leading edge of these storms are severe, as we do bring up our reflectivity. And then it looks like we do have some general showers into northeastern South Dakota for Brown County, including the Aberdeen area. And then we have a couple of heavier showers maybe trying to move through Beadle County to the west and to the southwest of Huron. Those are moving to the north and to, the northwest. And some steadier showers, I would say, from Wessington Springs to the south to include Plankington. And then notice how these do extend to central and south central South Dakota. Just some general light rain showers into those locations. So we have the rain as well just to the north and to the west of Mitchell. You can see severe thunderstorm warnings here into southwestern Minnesota. These are moving to the east and to the northeast. Nothing in the Iowa side right now, though it is a broken line of thunderstorms near Kingsley and to the north. Getting close to Ashton, Iowa, and again, those are moving to the east and to the northeast. So fast-moving storms here into northeastern South Dakota. Severe thunderstorm warnings again continue for Travis County and also Roberts County until 4:15 for the next, well, let's just say half hour, as we do bring up our latest view here. Take the laps off. You see the latest view here with our rain into northeastern Kettleland. Heavy rain at that. I haven't shown you the hail product in a while, so let's go ahead and bring that up in northeastern Kettleland. Not seeing much hail here right now. Let's go ahead and try to take this back a couple of minutes. If we get anything in white to show up, looks like we had something there near Wheaton. Maybe had some hail with that. Has since been falling out of the cloud cover for the possibility of hail there north of Wheaton, and those are moving to the north and to the northeast. So there is our latest view for northeastern South Dakota, showing our strong to severe weather into this location, and again into southwestern Minnesota. And let's go ahead and bring up the reflectivity here and also some of the velocity data. We'll continue to watch that area, maybe near Tyler and Florence, Ruthton.
I was just about to mention Ruthton. That we had a report from a spotter showing a rotating wall cloud as of about 10 minutes ago, a little bit north of Ruthton. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take the radar back then. Looking at some of that rotation, probably right about there, I would expect. That's going back to about 5 minutes, 3:44. Right now we're at 3:49, and that storm is moving to the east. So we could get some rotation associated with the storms in the southwestern Minnesota, as they are quickly moving to the east and to the northeast. But behind it, it's rather quiet in and around the Sioux Falls area, Interstate 29 and to the west until you hit maybe Mitchell. Then we're looking at some general showers, maybe a couple of lightning strikes west of Mitchell, but a lot of the lightning concentrated in southwestern Minnesota, going anywhere from near Ellsworth to Edgerton, Holland, Ruthton, Tyler, Hendricks, looking at a lot of lightning strikes with this storm. Into northeastern South Dakota, same thing for you guys, looking at a lot of lightning strikes with this. And anytime you get a lot of concentration of lightning over a particular area, that's a great indication that we do have some heavy rainfall, and that's what we've been experiencing in parts of northeastern South Dakota as well. So head on down to Pipestone County for a quick moment, if you will. 4 miles northwest of Trotsky, we had a report of a storm chaser getting video of a brief tornado around that neck of the woods as well.
Is that near Pipestone, you said?
Pipestone County.
Okay. Yep, that's more or less taking us into this location. There's a look at our reflectivity, storm relative. There's Florence. That was an area that we mentioned earlier that they're paying close attention to, just to the north of Ruthton. And we'll go ahead and bring up some of the velocity data here, the reflectivity data and the hail. Still with some hail with this storm too, south of Ivanhoe right now. Let's take this back, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of that hail has fallen out of these clouds. So we are looking at severe thunderstorm warning here, Lincoln County, Minnesota. It's out until 4:30. Also Lyon County, Minnesota until 4:30, 4:15. for Murray County. So line of storms continue through western and southwestern Minnesota. There's that broken line into northwestern Iowa. And notice how these storms do extend into northeastern South Dakota with that severe thunderstorm warning that we do have out for Roberts County until 4:15. Also Travis County into Minnesota, that is out until 4:15. So we've been watching the the higher temperatures, warmer temperatures, if you will, into Minnesota, northwestern Iowa. That's where we've had some of these numbers actually hit the 80s. 84 degrees right now in Spencer, 78 in Worthington, and of course a little bit more richer moisture that is available with temperatures still into the upper 60s to near 70 for our dew point temperatures. These numbers will eventually start to taper back across southeastern South Dakota, probably as we do go through this evening, and that is something that we'll continue to watch. Some of the wind gusts here, top of the hour things, looking at wind gusts near 50 miles per hour for Spencer, near 40 in Marshall, and the sustained winds coming straight from the south in Minnesota and Iowa, anywhere from 20 to 35 miles per hour or more. We're coming in at 37 in Spencer. And then we do change that wind to the north in central and western South Dakota. So that's a quick look at the analysis as to what's going on in KELO land for things just shy of 4 o'clock. So these storms here in Minnesota, we are looking at severe thunderstorm warnings into those locations. Extreme northeastern South Dakota, same thing. We're going to leave it here for you and go back to regular scheduled programming. I do want to finish with these areas still underneath this tornado watch until 6 o'clock in southeastern South Dakota, northwestern Iowa, and extreme northeastern KELO land until 10 o'clock. You've been watching severe weather coverage here on KELO Land Television. We now take you back to regular programming, but we will cut in as conditions do warrant.
Leda is a once daily pill proven to deliver significant relief.